This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Thursday, May 28, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Consumer discretionary is surging 1.76% in pre-market, outpacing energy. The energy sector, decline of 1.49% as earnings-driven momentum and sector rotation dominate. Snow, gaps up 36.5% on positive sentiment and sectoral momentum. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, your call on SPY, was bullish with a target of 751.38. The price was flat at 750.46. That's inconclusive. Grid, you called Triple Q bullish at 733.32. It's also flat at 729.45. Inconclusive. CIPHER didn't make a call. SPECTER, you were bearish on Triple Q at 725.44. It's flat. Inconclusive. Apex, you were also bearish on Triple Q at 725.44. Market was flat, inconclusive. I'll take the inconclusive. I had the right direction, but the timing was off. I need to be more precise with my targets.
I had the right idea, but the market didn't move. I need to refine my technical reads.
I'm not happy. I was wrong. The market didn't fall and I called it down. I need to adjust my risk parameters.
I agree, I was too cautious. I should have considered the earnings momentum more.
Let's move into the market overview. The S&P 500, SPY, is at 750.46, minus 0.2%. Triple Q is at 729.45, minus 0.11%. Diamonds is at 506.88, plus 0.32%. IWM is at 290.37, minus 0.5%. The 10-day range for SPY is $731.53 to $752.13. For Triple Q, it's $695.25 to $733.32. Consumer discretionary is up 1.76%, while the energy sector is down 1.49%. The VIX is at 17.1, up 0.42. The 10-year 2-year yield curve is at plus 0.48 pp. BBY is up 9.8%. HRL is up 6.5%, and MDB is up 9.2%. Snow is gap up at 36.5% pre-market. Let's start with the news and macro context. SPECTER, what's your read on the macro environment?
The 10-year 2-year yield curve is at plus 0.48 pp flat. That's a warning signal. The VIX is at 17.1, up 0.42 but still low. Inflation is at 3.29% year over year. The Fed is still in a wait-and-see mode. The yield curve flatness and the low VIX suggest that the market is in a false sense of security. I'm not seeing the risk we should be seeing.
I agree that the yield curve is flat, but the market isn't fully pricing in the risk. The fear and greed index is at 52, neutral, but the pre-market momentum in consumer discretionary and snow is clearly bullish. The earnings-driven sentiment is strong. I think the market is more resilient than the yield curve suggests. Grid, what's your take on the technicals?
The SPY is at $750.46, just below its 10-day high of $752.13. The Triple Q is at $729.45, near its 10-day low of $725.44. The SPY is in a tight consolidation phase, and the Triple Q is testing support. I'm watching the $752.13 level for a potential breakout.
The earnings-driven momentum is strong. BBY and HRL are gap up on Q2 beats. MDB is up 9.2% on institutional selling. Consumer discretionary is up 1.76% today and 5.67% this week. The sector is benefiting from strong earnings and sector rotation. The 10-year 2-year yield curve is flat, but the earnings momentum is a counterpoint.
Apex, what's your synthesis of the market?
The market is in a tug-of-war between earnings-driven optimism and macroeconomic caution. The sector rotation into consumer discretionary is strong, but the flat yield curve and rising VIX are warnings. The SPY is consolidating, and the triple Q is testing support. The key is to watch the $752.13 level for SPY and the $725.44 level for triple Q.
Let's dive into consumer discretionary. It's at 121.55 plus 1.76%. The sentiment here is clearly bullish. Consumer discretionary is up 1.76% today and 5.67% this week. The pre-market momentum in SNO and the earnings beats in BBY and HRL are supporting the sector. The fear and greed index is at 52, but the sector is showing strength.
The technicals for consumer discretionary are strong. It's in a consolidation phase, but the 10-day range is $116.26 to $121.55. The $121.55 level is a key resistance. If it breaks above, it could head toward $123.50.
The earnings momentum is the driver here. BBY and HRL are up on Q2 beats. The sector is benefiting from strong consumer spending. The $121.55 level is a key resistance. I'm watching for a breakout.
I'm cautious here. The sector is overextended. The 5.67% weekly gain is a red flag. The flat yield curve suggests that the market is not as resilient as it seems. I'm watching for a pullback.
Now let's talk about SNO. It's gap up at 36.5% pre-market. The pre-market momentum is extreme. The gap up is a strong signal of bullish sentiment. The earnings-driven optimism is pushing the stock higher.
The technicals for SNO are strong. It's at $260 pre-market, which is above its 10-day high of $250. The $260 level is a key resistance.
The earnings-driven momentum is the driver here. The stock is benefiting from strong earnings and sectoral rotation. The $260 level is a key resistance.
I'm not convinced. The gap up is a red flag. The stock is overbought. The $260 level is a key resistance, but I'm not seeing the fundamentals to justify the move. I'm watching for a pullback.
Now let's move to the energy sector. It's at 56.99, minus 1.49%. The sector is under pressure. The energy sector is down 1.49% today and 7.2% this week. The earnings season is a concern.
The technicals for the energy sector are weak. It's in a consolidation phase, but the 10-day range is $54.50 to $56.99. The $54.50 level is a key support.
The earnings season is a concern. Energy majors are due to report in the next 48 hours. The sector is under pressure from weak demand.
I'm cautious here. The sector is overextended. The 7.2% weekly loss is a red flag. The $54.50 level is a key support, but I'm not seeing the fundamentals to justify the move. I'm watching for a pullback.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on consumer discretionary. Let's dig into that.
I think grid technical read is too optimistic. The sector is overextended. The 5.67% weekly gain is a red flag. The flat yield curve and rising VIX suggest that the market is not as resilient as it seems.
I agree that the sector is strong, but the technicals are also strong. The $121.55 level is a key resistance. I'm watching for a breakout.
I think the sentiment is bullish. The earnings-driven momentum is strong. The fear and greed index is at 52, but the sector is showing strength.
The earnings momentum is the driver here. BBY and HRL are up on Q2 beats. The sector is benefiting from strong consumer spending. The $121.55 level is a key resistance.
My 24-hour call. Consumer discretionary bullish. Target $123.50 by next session.
My 24-hour call, SPY bullish, target $752.13 by next session.
My 24-hour call, BBY bullish, target $185 by next session.
My 24-hour call, SPY bearish, target $735 by next session.
My 24-hour call, triple Q bullish, target $733.50 by next session.
The market is in a tug-of-war between earnings-driven optimism and macroeconomic caution. The sector rotation into consumer discretionary is strong, but the flat yield curve and rising VIX are warnings. The key is to watch the $752.13 level for SPY and the $725.44 level for triple Q. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.